Hello. So this is my first attempt at a YouTube video on my channel, and yeah, I've been into non-duality for about a year now, and just want to share some thoughts I'm having today, some impressions I'm having. Yeah, I think it's hard to get away from the fact that, for example, it's not the only example, but it's a pretty horrifying one, especially with the American government funding and backing it. But there's a genocide in Gaza. And it's getting into the West Bank too. And this is a place that I lived in the West Bank for a couple of years, so it's very personal to me. These are my friends and their friends and family, just being slaughtered, being starved, being denied medical care, being made homeless by the millions. And here I am studying non-dual, and there's a part of me that considers this some dereliction of duty, and there's another part that has watched millions of people trying to fix this scenario for decades with nothing but things getting worse and worse and worse. And, I think there's some truth to the idea that you can't solve problems on the levels at which the problems were created. And so trying to, fight something makes it stronger, fight something makes it stronger. And the patterns repeat, repeat, repeat. Um, you know, uh, One counterexample I come up with is, women getting the right to vote. That's a positive thing, right? People worked for that. People struggled for that, and now I can vote, and that's a good thing. And I'm not saying that's not true. I think it is. I think there is progress on the relative sense. I'm grateful for it as a relative person. maybe, maybe in some sense it doesn't matter because I'm just a wisp of nothing, a piece of everything. Um, it's all just a university and doesn't matter except in as much as it exists in this moment. Of course, this moment is secure, it's comfortable, it's beautiful, it's full of potential, it's full of options. Most people in most of human history didn't have this many options to even get to the point where they could consider, non-dual. I mean, thank God there are monasteries and that kind of thing that kind of keep traditions alive. Um, Universities of different kinds, um, to not only keep it alive but to build on it. And um, some of it, at the end of the day, you can throw the books away, and it doesn't necessarily matter. I mean, you can go to YouTube and find all the wisdom you need right now, which is pretty wild. You can even go to a library, I guess. I mean, every book, you can once you start studying this, it's like, oh yeah, it's been everywhere all the whole time. From uh, what's that guy's name who wrote Tropic of Cancer? Anyway, yeah, stand still like the hummingbird. The nectar's right under your nose the whole time. Or Rilke, or Carl Jung, or Henry Thoreau. Just like go all the way down the line. It's anything that maybe I should speak for myself. Anything that has resonated for me, spoken to me, felt like uh, Rupert Spira says, "How do you know it's the correct note?" You just know it's not. You can't. I mean, yeah, maybe you can measure the frequency and all that, but it's different. Is the right next note of the song is not about frequencies. Um, and the yeah, whether something like resonates in your bones, you can analyze it, you can slice it up and do comparative philosophical or literary studies. That's fine. That's not what I'm talking about. So, what was my point? Fixing the world. Yeah. So, Gabor Mate has said that I can't heal my children, my adult children, for the simple fact that I can't. It's not responsibility because I can't. It's not something that's within my ability to do. Um, I can own my part as well as I can, and that's what I can do really. And and maybe that's how it is in the world writ large. And it's hard to feel like giving up on sort of trying to compel the world to be a better place. Because what if people had done that and now I didn't have the right to vote, right? What if but then maybe if they had, maybe if more people had, maybe I would have gotten the right to vote a lot sooner. Maybe it doesn't matter if I can vote at the end of the day. Maybe it's we're all, I have a relatively cushy university class here on Earth. Um, or I could have had a different one and I could have learned more, or I could have been more. Um, maybe there's no more. Maybe there's just maybe the point of all of my ancestors going through all of that was to get me to a place where I can actually do this. And maybe wasting that would be the biggest shame. Um, yeah. So it's not like I'm going to stop. I'm not going to do anything um, about the world, but I'm going to try to follow my own gut, which has been very energetic lately, um, kind of in intimidating ways, and also in ways that are old stuff coming up. Um, but I feel like I'm getting better at determining like what do I want to do here and now, because that's all there is. It's here and now. What do I want to do here and now? Am I going to be honest about that? Am I going to do things that make my feel like my chest is caving in, my guts are full of dread, and it doesn't always look like what I expect it to look like. But that's a small self, That's a small self with its predictions and its past and its future. So anyway, I didn't want to go more than 10 minutes, so let me see. Yeah, I was going to say thoughts made this world what it is. The human part, it created this crazy history, science, philosophies, art, all of it. Um, Gave us economies, technology, ways to connect with each other. That made the world so small and so knowable for the first time in human history. And it's such a short time, 100 years since, World War One, basically. That was a completely different universe that people lived in. And now people are kind of channeled into these new grooves, of like liberal and conservative, and I mean, and the lines get blurry when the sort of left wing and right wing merge to take on vaccines, and you know hating on trans people, or just these weird insidious ways where they find common cause. Um, but I always like to remember at the end of the day, that however bad or difficult things get or seem, what's that poem like? To only focus on the negative things in the world is to worship the devil. Um, it can feel like almost like an obligation to mourn all the time about ecological catastrophe, about genocide, about starvation. It's happening in, in Africa too, and I'm pretty ignorant about that. I get so frustrated with people for being ignorant about Gaza, and then I'm ignorant about so much myself. The long non-dual pause. You see that all the time on videos. But yeah, I think in this case I just forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, even if somebody figures everything out, all of it, and writes the best book possible, lays it all out completely, and makes YouTube videos that somehow point so directly anyone can get it. Um, People are still just swimming in the soup of content co-created with their biases, their egos, their preconceptions, and so it gives them what they want, and it shapes what they want, and it's this, it can get to be a very deep groove, and getting out of that is not easy. Most people don't even want to get out of it. They're so comfortable thinking they're bad and I'm good, and um, it can be easy when, and on the left. I'm not saying it's a complete relative. Like I'm on the left myself. I would certainly say that I'm a progressive. I think that lines up more with sort of a non-dual universalist kind of perspective. Although God knows even that can go wrong. But yeah, I mean on the left, they like, of course we're the good guys. We believe in inclusivity. We believe in um, a sustainable planet. We believe in some of them, in some cases, and into war. Um, and the other side is like, we're for the family. We believe in children. We believe in working people getting what they deserve. Um, so of course we're the good guys. Those other, they're just trying to tear everything down. Um, and when you're in that kind of silo where you just don't see, for example, trans people getting beaten up for being trans or being killed for being trans, you don't see data about vaccines because you don't trust the people giving you the data. So it doesn't matter what the data is because you don't trust the people giving you the data. So yeah, it's just so easy to get stuck, and getting out is so much harder. And getting out completely of the whole human story, uh, from top to bottom, something else entirely. And like we say, we can't go tell everyone to do that, and we shouldn't tell everyone to do that. And if everyone did it all at once right now, God knows what would even happen. Um, so the drama continues, and all I can really manage, if anybody's managing anything, is, do I listen to my gut? Do I listen to my heart? And do I listen to my thoughts? no matter what we do, it's with vastly imperfect information. I don't know where my thoughts come from. I don't know, my brain, it's well, I don't even know if it's just my brain, but there's something called that we call awareness. I don't know, what can you say about it? But it's the foundation upon which we can say anything else, and we can't say anything about it. We don't really know where it comes from. We don't really know what it is. And so the non-dual teachers say, or many different traditions say, okay, seek happiness, seek peace, seek equanimity, seek okayness with whatever is, which I mean, on the one hand, it's the only thing to do. What else are you going to do? Fight it? But on the other hand, so much of so much of our identity is tied up in struggle. It's tied up in improving things, making things better, which has its place. It really does. You divorce somebody who's treating you badly, or um, you go to a university where you can learn new things. Anything that you're trying to improve things, or but doing all of that based on what? At first I thought it was based on um, some idea of success. I was a good student, so I get a good engineering job, I have sports cars, whatever. Like that's what they that's what they said. Prestige, that's what it's all about. And then I kind of realized, no, that's not what it's all about. So what the hell is it all about? So after college, um, I just did what I wanted to do, and it was spectacular until I started being like, okay, no, but where's my reward? Where's my prestige? Where's my um, belonging, or whatever else? You think you're supposed to get out of life eventually, one way or another, right? And then eventually you realize you have everything that you thought you wanted, and there's still just this reactivity that you don't understand. And there's a sense of like, okay, therapy's good, but it's not the answer. It's not it. So what is it? What is it? What's going on? What is this for? What is this about? And then you pick up your dull machete and start hacking through the nearest jungle. What else? What else are you gonna do? Um, and you just keep going and see what happens, and there's little clearings where you're like, "Oh, that's where I am." And then it all closes in again. You're like, "Oh, wait, maybe that was just some part of something. Maybe that was a dead end. Maybe, who knows?" And then you have these people who, the non-dual teachers, they say, "Oh, it's this, it's here. It's gonna be self-evident once you see it. No questions, no problems. Just slide like a fish through water once you get rid of, XYZ." And that resonates, that sings to my bones. And then more fear comes in. Oh, what if they're fooling you? Or what if you're never gonna do it right? What if um What if I pause too long? I lose everyone. They think I'm a freak or a copycat. What if I am a copycat? Don't even realize it. But you keep going. Some kind of faith. It's not exactly faith. It's more like there's some light, there's some compass, there's some sense of alignment or lack of alignment. And sometimes it's just your mind telling you that everything's wrong without any particular reason. And maybe it's always been in alignment the whole time. You just can't feel it because your body's kind of blocked up with old stuff and your mind is telling stories about that. Yeah, anyway, just some thoughts on a Saturday afternoon. I tried writing, I've tried um, meditating, all different kinds of stuff. And I thought I'd try video. Why not? So that's it for today. Thank you.